Hello, 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 hello. Here we are. British People's League, BritishPeoplesLeague.com. October 26th. As I look out the window, slime and grime. Hopefully it melts. Have to get a new roof put up before the full winter sets in here. So how are you today? Thanks for tuning in. This is our second broadcast in October. That does the quota for October. Hey, doing these YouTubes is a bit nerve-wracking. You know, gotta please everyone in our camp, our choir. We're singing, we're preaching to the choir. Now that rubs some people the wrong way. We are getting somewhere when your opposition starts to cry in the comments section of YouTube. We really don't have time for debates, folks. Our race is being outbred around the globe, our British customs being smothered. We don't have time to debate. Those who want to debate, then start your own blog and, do so. Good luck to you. Not a case of no free speech. We've been through decades of trying to warn people, our peoples, that we're being outbred, that our customs, our traditions are being mocked and sneered at by the new third world arrivals. Our institutions are being sneered at, our customs being sneered at. So we don't need to read the sneers, the comment section under YouTube. We don't need to read snide remarks in the comment sections on YouTube. Fear of debate. I've been debating all my life. No. We have our YouTube set up here. We're very pleased with it. We don't need smart comments that are going to get us into problems. The Free Dominion website people found out the hard way with a civil jury in Ottawa. Look up Free Dominion on Dr. Google, and they recently were found guilty of defaming an Ottawa lawyer. The major thrust against the Free Dominion Patriot people was that they didn't remove comments that were derogatory soon enough, quick enough, when they were discovered. Well, do you think when I'm sleeping and I get up in the morning and find some set-up comments set up by agent provocateurs, do you think that we're going to leave ourselves wide open to that? Now, our fans out there, we know you're with us. We know who you are. And your comments were terrific at the early stages. Your comments were terrific. But unfortunately, to disable comments, everything had to go. So do hope our fans out there understand. And most of you are in touch by email in any case. BritishPeoplesLeague.com has all of the approaches to us. Inquiries are welcome at BritishCanada@gmail.com. BritishCanada@gmail.com. While giving out contact points, before we get into the meat of today's show, which I think we're going to entitle School Murders, before we get into the heavy-duty parts, we'll just continue to plug our favorite people in the motherland, in Mother Britannia. Candor, CANDOUR.org.uk. For new listeners today, the regular listeners, of course, know of Candor. They're a fine publishing, patriotic organization producing fine patriotic literature for various patriotic groups, for Britons around the globe. That's CANDOUR, candor.org.uk. Now, from an activity standpoint, to hit the streets, the trimmest street activists, in our opinion, in the opinion of the British People's League Friends, National Front UK. National Front UK. In America, we plug League of the South. League of the South, fine patriotic organization. So there's 3 plugs for today. We've discussed the no comment section, and it's too bad, but well wishes are gladly accepted at the BritishCanada@gmail.com. BritishCanada@gmail.com. Okay. Now, those in the choir who peruse the various blogs on the internet will know of some, I don't know what to call them, they're white people who have started some splashy publicity in a little town called Leith in North Dakota, Leith, Leith, North Dakota. There's been a lot of comments on a lot of blogs. It's using the symbol from the Second World War that hurts so many patriot organizations when people who still like using that Axis symbol from the Second World War, so many patriotic groups are hurt by this. On the fringes, they come in. Well, the Leith situation, they haven't come in on the fringes. They've got that symbol right up front. But here's a very good answer from one of the bloggers, and you know, there's different blogs out there, folks. What has Craig, the supposed white nationalist, done so far that has benefited the whites in Leith? Why not praise the white people of Leith, who, without any fanfare, had already created their own 95% white town, which they ran before Craig arrived? Leith was already pioneer little Europe before Craig arrived, filled with whites, run by whites, for whites, with a token black to defect criticism. Craig has utterly destroyed Leith as a pioneer little Europe, and inevitably the single token black will now be elected mayor next time. Craig is a slum landlord living in a slum house with an unemployed drunkard and family. Slums and drunks are the face of white nationalism Craig brought to Leith. Before I carry on, maybe new listeners, you got to get this clear, folks. The British People's League, if you read our editorials, BritishPeoplesLeague.com, was set up ages ago to carry on the traditions, the British traditions, wherever those of British stock may dwell. But along with that is our European cousins. We all, the British stock we're talking to are white ancestry. So this is the point. So here's a white community already thriving, as is, say, the village I live in, and so many villages and towns, small towns, where whites have fled to. White flight. So to just come storming in with the symbol from the Second World War, which I now call the spider symbol, representing Spider-Man, it's a no-go. Here's a town, and this could be any white town. Craig is a slum landlord living in a slum house with an unemployed drunkard and family. Slums and drunks are the face of white nationalism Craig brought to Leith, North Dakota. He showed no courage at all. Had he gone to a suburb filled with terrified, poor old white people in a decaying part of town, surrounded by gangs and drug dealers and prostitutes, and helped them, yes, and by the way, for every whore there's a whoremonger, so I'm not letting men off the hook. For every whore, there's a whoremonger. surrounded by gangs and drug dealers and prostitutes. So he's talking about the poor fringe areas of the cities where elderly whites can't escape. People who have no money just can't pick up and move. Now, if this Craig guy had helped establish Pioneer Little Europe, there he would have deserved praise. Now, for new listeners, Pioneer Little Europe is a plan, and especially being promoted in the United States, where white people can gather privately. Fill up the small towns with fellow whites. He has done nothing but wreaked havoc. Craig has done nothing but wreak havoc on decent white people's lives. And all because he wanted attention. He will move on shortly, as he always does, leaving the whites in Leith, North Dakota, to suffer the consequences of his actions, to seek attention elsewhere. Living in quiet, peaceful, majority white leafy suburbs. Well, we'll say real suburbs, more for the villages, folks. Now, I don't even know the real name of the author of this article, but it's pertinent. I hope it gives you some food for thought. We don't need to establish Pioneer Little Europes. Like most whites, we already live in them. Had Craig tried to establish his slum next to me, in my nice quiet village, I would have had him run out long ago. Drunken sots would get the same treatment. And there's nothing wrong with a few beer every now and then. We all know the line between having a few beer and letting off steam every now and then. That compared to being a total drunk. Drunken sots would get the same treatment. That's the advantage of being a pillar of the community, living like a decent, normal person and wearing a suit and tie. Oh, heaven forbid, a suit and tie. The powers that be at local level listen to you because you are friends and neighbors to them and help them as much as they help you, be it with volunteer work, donations help at election time, etc. We suits establish, run, and staff the local Rotary, Residents Association, PTAs, churches, often both local political party branches, local crime prevention organizations, charities, orphanages, retirement homes, hospices, shelters, schools, clinics, hospitals, gardening clubs, numerous volunteer organizations. And I see this done beautifully in the home area here in Haliburton County, Ontario, Canada. Our families make up most of the people in the fire, the police, and ambulance services. So far, what's wrong with this picture? Sounds pretty good, little white villages, but what the writer here, I'll comment at the end, forgets slowly the third world, with suit and ties. They're coming in buying pharmacy shops, motels, eateries, slowly. And yes, they're polite in the villages because they know that we white people, especially those of British stock, have set up the villages along with our European cousins. And now they're coming in to reap the rewards, the benefits. So what's your problem, Beattie, if they're polite and nice? They're not our people. They're not our culture. They don't worship the same God we do. They don't care for the bagpipes, the brass bands, our traditions, our culture. Do we want it changed? As one of our good friends in Ottawa recently emailed, the activities going on at the mosque in Ottawa and the mosques are growing and growing and growing. And sure, they may not be breaking the law at all. They may be just wonderful. But the point is, they're not our kind, they're not our people. And as Kipling said, Rudyard Kipling said, let's stick to our own kind. And I believe also in the Christian Bible there's a line to that effect. Kind after kind. We run the local councils, fight the wars, and hold real ranks and real militaries. Keep our areas clean and tidy, own guns, dogs, are married, have healthy children, and have electricity and clean running water. We work hard, pay our taxes, and despise unwashed, long-haired hippies unable to keep a job. Wearing dirty clothes, living in slum houses, drunks, costume actors, clowns giving themselves imaginary ranks in non-existent armies, waving cloths who have yet to actually do anything to help their fellow whites. Now, having read his description, this boy in the British People's League, we're not concerned if you have hair down to your waistline, as long as you care about Britain's ancestry and our European cousins. Those whites who don't live in pioneer little Europes and are prepared to act like adults and spend a couple hours a week or month in any of the above activities can move a couple of villages off in a couple of blocks and live in one anytime they want. Pretty much the biggest problem I have right now is my neighbor who mows his lawn early on Sunday morning. As one can see, it is not all fun and games and roses in a pioneer little Europe. Few people appreciate the depth of my current suffering. I just hope I can find the strength to endure. So his neighbor's lawnmowers, yes, it bugs me in the summer too. I'm not a fanatic for a pretty lawn. Let it grow a wee bit. But in any case, that's his statement. But I interjected the problem with that writer. Yes, he's described white life, British Canadian life, Britons in the motherland, British Australians, New Zealand, Falklands, Gibraltar, wherever those of British stock are. That's the ideal. We just read out the ideal. But as I interjected, the third world is seeping in. It's pretty simple. It's pretty obvious. With anyone with eyes can see. Young couples have to have more kids. Back up a couple of my videos and I go into the beauties of motherhood and the praise I give for motherhood. Without that root foundation, you get these horrible school shootings that are really spreading in the States. Fortunately, haven't hit Canada yet. There's incidents in the motherland. If there's no structure, father doesn't stick around, well, what do you think kids do when they have no structure whatsoever? They go off the deep end. And the cities, as previous videos point out, are just rampant with crime. And the small villages we are trying to keep white, bright, and beautiful. And yes, I'll refer back again to way back in videos, Alistair Cook, who was a great British broadcaster into his 90s. So this boy has a long way to go yet. I say that for our fans. I say it to our enemies as well. You ain't got a prayer thinking this boy's going to slow down. And come February, we're going to have the dinosaur news every day, 5 days a week. So that's the choice. Chaos, white man being outbred, or join with the British People's League as a friend. We don't have memberships, clubs, no meetings. Get-togethers of friends, yes. Check out the past videos. School shootings are the horrors on the pages and the Drudge Report, etc. That's the ultimate horror. Children not being safe in public schools. So let's get back. Let's bring some of the old ways into the new century. Thanks for tuning in today. That's our quota for October. We'll be at you twice in November. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of your family. And hey, you young couples out there, let's get some white kids. Goodbye for now.